Time now for our Media Moments, where we check in on the day's bias, buzz, and bull in the world of cable news and beyond. The Pennsylvania Republican primary is still neck and neck with a recount almost certain. Former President Trump has been encouraging his candidate, Dr. Mehmet Oz, to just declare victory now to prevent fellow Republican David McCormick from somehow stealing the election. Now that puts the RNC in a tricky spot, and even Fox's Martha McCallum asked that question.
President Trump spoke out on his Truth Social social media site, and he said Dr. Oz should declare victory. It makes it much harder for them to cheat with the ballots that they, quote, just happened to find. Do you think that Dr. Oz should go ahead and declare victory?
I'm not going to speak for Dr. Oz. President Trump is right, and others, that we should not have no excuse absentee voting.
But McCallum wasn't asking about no excuse absentee voting.
The former president is suggesting that another Republican who is supported by people who used to work in his administration is searching for votes or doing something that is untoward.
Well, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled this year, and the RNC very much supports that ballots should not be counted without a date.
Again, an odd non-response, since, of course, the answer just ought to be he shouldn't be impugning a fellow Republican who's done nothing wrong.
If Dave McCormick were to win, will he be supported by President Trump, or is he going to keep saying, you know, that he won this in a way that wasn't fair or that was fraudulent? It seems odd, doesn't it?
I think every Republican is going to be supporting the Republican nominee in these states, including President Trump.
To McCallum's credit, she did not give up.
So the Wall Street Journal this week looking at sort of the bigger picture of all of this and reminding people of the situation that happened in the runoff in Georgia in the Senate race there when the GOP lost those two key Senate seats and with it the majority in the Senate. And this is what they write. Angry about his own loss, Mr. Trump told GOP voters not to trust the process. That paved the way for President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID package, the ensuing 8.5% inflation, and a liberal Supreme Court justice in waiting. Are they right about that?
These are solid questions from McCallum.
I disagree. I mean, President Trump was in Georgia, I think the day before the runoff in the Loeffler and Perdue races, down there to turn out the vote, to take back those two Senate seats. The president has sent out many, many emails, and I have seen them calling on people to vote.
All right, look, she didn't ask if he was in Georgia to turn down the vote, whether his comments had that impact. But look, this was a good, tough interview by McCallum. She deserves credit for keeping McDaniel's feet to the fire. So good for her. Coming up, we have gone after the left tonight for crying fire over the Georgia election law. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.